Hello, this is Right Side Trader. Today is January 23rd, 2026, and this is going to be a quick, little look at a day trade and how I go about day trading. This is all for educational purposes only, no trade recommendation, because as we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading, so please check with your financial advisor. Please check with your significant other and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. I'm going to show you some of the indicators that I use. Show you some of the things that I do before I actually start trading in the morning and how I get things set up for my trade and all. I'm not going to take a look at the options, but I do trade. I trade I scalp the market using options and all. So that seems to work out pretty good for me and all. I won't get into that though this time. And all. First of all, I start off with the big picture. The day is Friday. This green candle right here represents the day, the 23rd. You can see the date down there on the bottom. As we can see, the market had gapped down a little bit because candles. Remember, the market opens. Let me move that out of the way. The market opens down here. Well, this candle opens down here, and we're in the live market right now, and it closes somewhere up here. So that's what I was seeing this morning. The market had gapped down. It was below my weekly pivots. These are weekly pivots that I'm using here on this chart when I'm looking at a day chart. So I kind of expected the market to go back to pivot at least. So you say, okay, well, that's not much of a move. That's only about a $2 move, but as you've been hearing me say, I like making 50 cents to $1 on my option trades. Making 50 cents to $1 on my option trade is in that $2 move using options, and I tell you with a 0.5 delta is what I like using. I'm at the money or slightly in the money at times. So that's that. So that was the big picture. I didn't know if it was going to open here and go down here and try to finish filling this gap or what. But I was thinking, to me, this is not a significant gap since we got where the market has traded back here in this area here where we have this gap at. So I wasn't too concerned about that. I was more concerned about looking at on my smaller time frame, where's my support level? Where's my demand level when I go down to my lower time frames and all? Where's going to be my support if this thing does drop? It opened here. It did drop a little bit. And as you can see, it bounced and it's going higher at this time. But let's go down to a lower time frame here. What did I set up next? I did kind of set this up here. This is my hourly. Should be hourly. Yes, it's my hourly and all. And this indicator that you're showing on here, that I'm showing on here, this dotted line here, this dotted line here, this dotted line here. This is all part of that VWAP thing. It's something I've been looking at. Some guy, about a few years back, some guy had mentioned this VWAP, like it was the indicator to use and all, the indicator to have, So I started putting it on my chart. But first, I'll get this. The thing about the VWAP, where do you anchor it at? For day trading, for long-term trading, what do? I watched a few videos out there. That's what we do, And I saw some guy having multiple VWAP lines on his thing, anchored at multiple places and all. But I don't like that. As you can see, I usually like using multiple charts and have just fewer indicators on each one of those charts and see what it's telling me. As we can see with this VWAP thing, though, here, this market has been bouncing here on this central line here and all. And you can see my settings up here on the VWAP. I don't really care about that. It's not a key indicator that I actually use. But this week, put it that way, this week, it has played out pretty nice. Because a lot of times if you're down here at the bottom, you expect it to go up. You're at the middle, it's kind of like a neutral. You don't know what it's going to do. Then when it gets to the top, you kind of expect it to go down. It's almost like Bollinger Bands or something and all. But that's what we see there. So the thing is, what's important on here, though, from this morning, I can see that I got a demand level here. I got a support level right here. And all. So going down to my entry chart, I go down. I'm going to show you an entry chart that I use. I use a 2-minute entry chart. Let's say you hear me. Don't use the minute chart. Don't use the minute chart. But I use a 2-minute. So I go to a 2-minute chart just for my entry. And all this Try to, that's what, and again, I'm in that chart, then I'm to a higher time frame. I'm back to my 5-minute time frame, or I'm back to this hour time frame, and all is what I do. So that's that. But here I can see that I got a demand level here. So with that demand level being there and all, I'm down at my lower time frame. Let's go down to that 2-minute time frame, that entry time frame. I'm looking at it and all, and on this time frame, I'm trying to see, okay, where should I be getting into this market at? I'm gonna draw a line here, and I don't even need, with being the indicators that I use, I don't need lines. I don't need put too many more lines and stuff on my chart, as you can see. And what I did do with this chart, though, just for this video more so than anything, is I added this line, these lines here, these lines with the dots on them, this line, and this line are my daily SVE pivots. I have two sets of pivots. The thing is, I have two sets of pivots on here. I have daily pivots on here, which I usually always use, and I have weekly pivots that you saw on the other thing. So I like when I'm day trading. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I want to see the bigger picture, and using my pivot is one of the things that I use to see that bigger picture. So those are daily pivot lines, and then the solid lines that you see, like this line right here. This is that pivot line that I said the market may go to and all. So again, that's why I like having it on. I like having some of these lines on here and all. Now, this dash line, I'm kind of explaining, this is something that you won't have, you can't find. Maybe you can create something like this and all. This line here is my custom pivot line. This is kind of like my L1 and my H1, these dash lines. And this line right here, all it is an opening line. I want to know, as you can see from right here, it just shows me where the market open at. I like having that information where the market open at. And these H1 and L1 lines are just a range of the market, a typical range of the market, low range, and I have what's called a high range, and that's why it's L1, H1 type thing. And that H1, L1 is these red lines that are out here and all. And when they start lining up, like this one is lining up here, and how this lined up down here, that lets me know that probably is going to be a pretty strong area. And as you can see, all these lines down here are lining up pretty good and all. So that's one of the things about me using. I like using levels of the market in the market, especially when I'm day trading, because they seem at times the stars do align, and when they do align, it usually sets up for a pretty good trade. So now back to my entry and stuff that we can see. First of all, I have my custom pivot line right here acting as support, acting as a demand level even in the pre-market. I see that. So now let's go to my, on the 2-minute chart, we can see green candle. I don't pay any attention to a green candle on a 2-minute chart. That's not enough time and all. But then on my 5-minute chart, I'm going to switch over to that right quick. 5-minute chart, zoom in a little bit and all. My 5-minute chart, I had a red candle. So me, based on my trading plan and my trading strategy, I know I need to wait for my next best play if I want to play it to the upside, and I expect the market to still be bullish that day and all. So, and where I saw my demand level at, as you can see on this 5-minute chart, it was down here and all at that my custom pivot line. It had been working out earlier. I kind of expected to work out later. So again, once I saw that red candle here, I went back down. I went down to my 2-minute chart and all. And these are on multiple screens, not all on one screen like I'm showing you now. I can look at all this stuff at the same time. So I'm seeing this market come down here, and then I see my little red candle. I see my little green candle here, my little doji, and all. Like the market is ready to go back up. And then I catch this thing on this candle right here, and all heading back up, and all. And I'm out of this trade as soon as it gets back up to this level here. Because me, I'm the type of trader, I'm not sure if you're going to break this high or not and all. But as you can see, the market did go well above that high. Instead of getting 50 cents on the trade, there was a full dollar on this trade. But all I took was 50 cents. And I'm okay with the 50 cents for the day And well, yeah, for today. Yeah, I'm not done trading anymore. That's why I decided to make one of these videos. I hadn't done one this week. And so that's it. That's the trade, and that's what I see. Now, based on other things that you're seeing here, there's a lot of other things that are showing up here that other traders do. I have some lines and things on here about that. But most of the time, people are not using pivots like I'm using pivots. And this is your pivot line. Again, this is my daily pivot line, as I usually say. And that's another reason for me to be getting out of this trade based on my trading plan and my trading strategy. If I get in down here and I'm out up here and all, is my under pivot, stay under pivot type thing. And again, the first time up here to pivot, it did pull back. But then it did give you another entry and all here. And say, oh, do you know that was entry? You got a little green candle. You take a chance. You put your stop right there. And if this thing doesn't work, again, just like back over here, I got a little green candle and some bullish looking confirmation candle. You put your stop right here, or you can use this level down here as your stop. This stuff is not that difficult. You just got to get where you have a plan, you have a strategy, and you test it and make sure it works and all. And once you see that, yes, it works pretty good most of the time. Nothing is gonna work all the time. You get where you stick with it, and you learn to take your stops when it doesn't work, and all. And this right here is probably one of those convergence things that you're seeing right here, where you ended up with a higher low, and all. So you expect, based on what was happening here, because I almost took another trade, to break that high, and it did. So that's it. That's all I really want to share at this time. Just showing you a little bit more in detail of what I'm looking at when I'm taking a trade on the Qs. And it was a good week this week. That's all I have to share. This is a Right Side Trader. Hope this is being helpful for some. If you're interested in day trading and looking at different setups and how I go about scalping the market and all, you'll see the way I do it. It's definitely a fast trade. You need to be on top of things. And you got to be okay just making, 50 cents to $1 a day. And 50 cents to $1 a day, that's one contract is $50. And a dollar is $100, one contract. So now you just multiply that times ever how many contracts you want to trade at the time. Again, trading is risky. So, and when it comes to the money, it's all about, conditioning yourself or getting yourself to a point where you're comfortable trading money. But that's it. That's all I really want to share here today. I hope this has been helpful. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you have a great weekend, and look out for my market review coming out later today. I should be in front of the computer and be able to do that. But that's it. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.